evening, and thank you for joining us today. This is our part two of Moments in Mentoring, and I'm so excited to celebrate our guest today. But before we dive into that, Moments in Mentoring is a series that we've done for over the last 4 years now, and I always take pride in paying homage to women in the community and those who have blazed trails before us. So I'm so excited to take this time. But before diving in, those of you who are not familiar with Mentor Greater Milwaukee, we are an organization that uplift and amplify mentoring through community resources, through training, mentor recruitment. However, we can amplify mentoring, we come alongside mentor programs to enhance what they're doing. If you want to get involved, if you want to become a mentor, go to our website at www.milwaukeementor.com. And so, without further ado, I'm so excited. This is a special one for me because Alverno College have a special place in my heart, simply because I really feel like Alverno, the professors, the staff, kind of helped me realize my potential in leadership and articulate with self-assessments and communication, and just really is a major part of my life. And I have the honor and the privilege to have a conversation with the current president, Miss Christy Brown. And so before we have our conversation, I just want to give y'all a little background about Miss Christy. So Christy L. Brown is the president of Alverno College. She brings over 2 decades of experience providing strategic and visionary executive leadership and legal expertise in higher education and nonprofit organizations. Previously, she was a CEO of Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast, where she led the high performing council to its second in market share out of 111 councils nationally. And she transformed the business model through implementing technology solutions, including a CRM system, and helped to create an atmosphere which garnered a places to work from the Milwaukee Business Journal. A mouthful already. And she's also an active member in her community. Christy currently serves as a trustee for the Medical College of Wisconsin and has served on the board of trustees for Carroll University. In addition, she has been honored as Tempo's Mentor Awardee, which we love Tempo here. I'm actually a part of Emerging Women Leaders
great.
with Tempo. Yep. A woman of influence by the Milwaukee Business Journal, a woman of distinction by Waukesha County Women and Girls Fund, and has received the Linda McFerrin Award for African American Nonprofit Leaderships from the United Way of Greater Milwaukee and Waukesha County. And she is a woman of knowledge. She earned her bachelor's in psychology from Stanford University, her Juris Doctorate, and her master's at Duke University. Look, and I had to condense that, as I told you, because the resume is very litty. So, Miss Christy, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
Good. So, what I like to do before we get started is share a fun fact about yourself with our audience. Just something that people may be surprised to know, or something that like a hobby or.
Well, the first thing that came to my, I actually asked my husband what would a fun fact be, and he said that I should share that I could eat a hamburger every day
Oh.
because I love hamburgers.
Grilled.
All different forms.
All
yeah.
different forms.
Broiled, grilled, fried in the pan with some bread.
Uh-huh.
You know, like your mother used to make.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh,
All
my
of them.
mom will make a good cheeseburger with bacon.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Have you seen the new trend that they have going? It's it's a name. Can't think of the name.
The smash burger.
And they have
No?
the onions on the top and the onions on the bottom.
I don't know if that's the same thing, but just I love the burger. So
Yeah.
just give me a burger. That's all I have to say.
I'm like,
That's a fun fact about me.
Yes, we love it, and that burger is a mean one. So if you try that one, let me
I'll
know.
let you know.
Okay, so let's dive right in. So, just thinking about mentoring, and how it has had an impact in your life. So, just thinking about when you were younger, maybe high school, teenage, or maybe that 18 to 24 age range. Just think about who have impacted your life in the mentoring space, and how has that kind of shown up in your life now. And if you have a current mentor, how has their contributions to your life kind of positioned you to where you are today?
Well, there's a lot in that
It
question. Thank you for the
is
question.
layered.
I will always start with the first and best mentor would be my mom,
Yeah,
because I think she instilled in all of her children, a work ethic that we live by, and faith, that we live by,
absolutely.
and being appreciative of what we have,
Hmm.
and trying to share with others who don't have. So that's
Hmm.
my mom.
Yeah,
When you mentioned being in high school and kind of that 18 to 24-year-old range,
yeah,
I thought about coaches that
yeah.
I had for sports. I
Okay.
love sports. I did basketball and track in high school. I went to Rufus King. And then I walked onto the track team at
Hmm.
Stanford, which is a D1 school, very difficult. However,
Yes.
then I walked right off because I was like, this is too much for I need to be studying or something
Uh-huh.
but I was in good shape. But so
Yes.
those people, though, that were my coaches
Hmm.
throughout the years have just imparted in me still kind of the work hard to get what you want sort of thing. If you have a goal,
Absolutely.
you have to identify what that goal is to
Hmm.
reach it. So I think sports kind of taught me that, as well as teamwork.
Yeah.
Being on a basketball team and even in a track on the field,
Hmm.
you still have a team, even though you do a lot of individual sports. And I think I learned a lot from that and from those coaches that were there. Currently, I guess the person who has mentored me the most is probably Jose Olivieri, who was actually a partner at the law firm
Okay.
that I was at when I started my career at Michael Best and Friedrich. To me, a mentor is just somebody who tells you what you need to know when you need to know it,
Absolutely. Yep.
and they don't mince words,
Hmm.
but they also, lift you up, kind of like you have described Milwaukee mentors
Hmm.
do. So, mentoring Milwaukee, he really has always been someone at the law firm. He was a partner there when I was a young associate, and just gave me directions on what I should be doing or not doing
Hmm.
as I was trying
Absolutely.
to grow in my career. So I would say he has shaped kind of a lot of who I am. And also just every school I've gone to, there's just been teachers, and
Yeah.
it takes a village, right?
It
So I
does.
feel like I found mentors everywhere. My friends, my um, colleagues have
Yep.
all played a role in kind of where I am now and who I hope to continue to be in the future.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned teachers and coaches. A lot of times when we do our trainings, we talk about how they have their roles as teachers and coaches, but there's also that mentoring component where you're
Hmm.
doing life with
Right.
those that you impact. And I also like that you brought up your current mentor, being a male, and we just talked about this with our part one of the series. I love to hear when male mentors are kind of guiding women, and sometimes it's not the best rap, or you may say men are take advantage of these spaces, but that's not every man. And so again, I'm glad that you were able to point that out, because there's things that we can learn. There's ways we can come alongside. Men can come alongside women, whether it's opening doors or giving us a seat at the
Hmm.
table, being advocates for us, being allies for us in these spaces. So kudos to those good men out there,
Yep.
who are championing us and guiding us, or giving us the resources, or busting down doors for us. So now back to Women's History Month. Back to us. But no, that, you know what I mean? I
Yes,
really can
definitely.
appreciate that.
Particularly in a field that's male dominated. So when I was at the firm, there were only two women there were 200 lawyers there. There were only two women in my practice area, which
Mm,
was labor and employment law, and no women partners in that group, and only one or two women partners when I started there. So
yeah.
it almost had to be a man in that space.
Mhm.
But I was lucky, and not just him. There were others as well. But I
Yeah.
think he's played the most and had the longest role. And because I talked to him yesterday, so
Yeah.
you know,
See?
yeah.
I love it. I love that. Doing life together. And so you kind of touched on what does mentoring mean to you, that person that kind of tell you what you need to hear even when you don't want to hear it. You want to elaborate a little bit more, like when you hear the word mentoring, what kind of stands out or what does that mean to you?
So for me, I think when I got that Tempo Mentor Award, one of the things I had to do was give a little speech.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But it made me look up the definition of mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things it says is experienced, which I cringe because I was like, are you telling me I got to be old to be a mentor? Because that was my interpretation of experience.
Yeah.
But I will say this: there are young people who I feel like are mentoring me now, right?
Yeah.
Because they have more experience
Uh-huh.
in places that I don't have. The students
That's
here
good.
have way more experience with social media and all those
That's
types of
good.
things, so they can still be mentors to me. So I think I
Mm-hmm.
overread into the word. I was maybe a little sensitive. I just turned 50 or something. But I think a mentor does have to have some experience in whatever it is that that they are
Absolutely.
mentoring, but also you trust them,
Yeah.
which means they have to be able to build a rapport and communicate well with people. Otherwise, there's not that trust there.
Absolutely.
And they help guide you.
Yep.
They don't make decisions for you,
Mm-hmm.
but they ask you great questions that
Yeah.
help you discern which way you want to go. So to me, that's what a good mentor is.
Mm-hmm. We always say in our trainings too that you're not being prescriptive, as a mentor, but you're being a guide on the
That's right.
side. You're doing life with them, and maybe even those open-ended questions when we don't make the best decisions, or with our experience, I have a network now that I can offer to you, so that if I don't have all the answers, I have people in my network that can kind of support where your journey is going to.
Which is an excellent point because we don't all have the same relationships.
Exactly.
And so if you know that you need something or somebody suggests that you need something, they can help maybe make those connections for you.
Absolutely. Embracing, I don't know everything and I don't have to know everything, but I know people who know some stuff. And I'm willing to share that with you too.
Right.
That's what a good mentor would do, open up their network. So, yes. And so you mentioned King, Rufus King. And so I'm not going to look because over in the corner there, but I do know there has been that culture in Milwaukee where you have the King and the Riverside kind of rivalry. But just thinking about the culture that kind of shaped you to be the woman you are today, whether it's like you mentioned faith, it could be faith, family, education, maybe the culture in the city of Milwaukee. Just thinking about that as the woman you are today, how has the culture that's around you kind of shaped you into this magnificent woman that you are today?
Well, thank you for that.
I'm going to gas you. I'm always good at gassing women.
Thank you. Well, certainly the first thing is always the home culture, and so how I was raised. Mom and Dad always said education is one of the most important things you can do for yourself.
Yes.
If you get some knowledge, no one can take that from you.
Absolutely.
So I think that was part of what the culture was that I had growing up, as well as, being in church, going to church. I will say that we were raised Lutheran initially. And at one point, my mom was like, I don't know if this is the best situation right now. So I then joined church with my grandparents, which was St. Mark AME Church.
Oh, okay. I'm
And so
familiar.
love the history there and love, growing up there. I joined there when I was about 15, I think. So church has always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
Love particularly the black church because I feel like there's that call and response. There's a lot of history that we draw on.
Absolutely.
As people who have come from, mostly West Africa. So I love church.
Absolutely.
But being from Milwaukee is also very interesting, particularly when you go to other places. So when I went to the West Coast and when I went to, I don't think Duke is East Coast, but it kind of is East Coast. It's North Carolina.
Okay.
But a lot of the people there are from New York for some reason. But anyway, people have a vision of who they think Midwesterners are.
Yes.
And I do fit some of that vision, like, again, work hard, real. I think people think that we are real people.
Good.
Friendly. All of that is Midwestern. But I also come to a space with maybe some non-Midwestern characteristics, which are, being proud of who I am and able to voice my opinion in different spaces,
Absolutely.
which people don't always think of as Midwestern, because we're Midwestern nice in Milwaukee, right? Because we don't always tell everybody what we're really thinking. Well, sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Often I do, because that's the way that you make change.
Absolutely.
So I think that all of those pieces that you described in the lead up to the question, home, church, being Midwestern, being from Milwaukee, all of those things have really helped shape who I am and how I get to the places that I've gotten, and what I enjoy right now as a great career.
Yeah.
Much of which is based on all the different, things that I've experienced having grown up where I grew up, with whom I grew up, and in the spaces that I grew up.
Absolutely. I'm a church girl. I grew up in church. And I'm rooted in my faith, prayer, all of that. That just matters to me, it's so important. And I can appreciate our Midwestern culture as well. I mean, a lot of people who learn that I'm from Wisconsin, not particularly Milwaukee, they're like, you live in Wisconsin? I'm like, there's black people in Wisconsin. Yes, there is. A lot of us here, actually. Right. So I can appreciate that, too.
But I do also like cheese. I just want everybody to know.
Love cheese.
I
Good
love
nachos.
Yeah.
And your cheeseburger?
Girl, I just had some cheese curds.
Uh-huh.
They were so good.
Yes.
Where did these cheese curds come from? I have to ask my husband. I didn't buy them, but I ate them. Almost all of them. But
what about the dipping sauce?
There was no dipping sauce.
No.
Actually, it was from a barbecue place. So I can't remember the name of the actual. I probably should remember it, but it was great. They were the best cheese curds I've ever had.
Yes, I love a good cheese
with some
curd.
ribs.
Oh,
yeah. So
cheese curds and ribs.
Who knew?
I haven't had that
yet.
Who knew? We know now. I love a good cheese curd. Culver's got good cheese curds, though.
Which one?
Culver's.
Oh, yeah, they do.
They have good cheese curds. So thinking about that, even that bonding experience that over food, our friendships, the third or fourth question, whatever number we're on, thinking about as a woman, like our relationships and how we cultivate those relationships. Sometimes they're lifelong relationships. Sometimes our mentors are lifelong relationships. But thinking specifically about friendships. And I like to ask this question because I think about maybe young girls or high schoolers may watch this video, which I'm hoping they do. Just some maybe 3 or 4 qualities that you look for in a friendship or even leadership. Because I know sometimes women or female, we get that rep of being catty, which that's not always the story for everybody. So when you think about who do you invite in your space, how important that is as you navigate life in this journey, what do you look for in friendship or even leadership?
The friendship question is very important, I think, for young people, because who you surround yourself with is going to help define your trajectory, to me, in life. So, and, I have a 19-year-old daughter, a 17-year-old son.
Yeah.
And it is so important to me that they surround themselves, with the right folks.
Absolutely.
And by right, I mean somebody who cares about you,
Absolutely.
Not what you have, right? So they have to care about you and your heart and how you feel. I always think it's important to be able to laugh with people.
Yes.
Laughter to me is the elixir of the soul or something. I made that up. I don't know what it means, but I think it means,
it's medicine.
You have to be with somebody who makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're always a downer or they're always a downer, that's not a good place for you to be. So you shouldn't be with someone who brings that out of you. I think someone who helps you understand what your qualities are that you bring to the world and why you're the special person that you are is also important, and that you're doing that same thing. It's reciprocated, that both of you are lifting each other up.
Absolutely.
And then, I don't know, a fourth one would be maybe not being competitive. You talked about being cattiness or whatever. So I think that sometimes, particularly with young people
Mhm.
and social media,
Yes.
it's like who's liking you. I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's the correct phraseology, but how many likes you have
Yes.
or all those types of things.
Uh-huh.
You have to do things for you and,
Absolutely.
make sure that you're moving through the world authentically
Mhm.
and putting things on social media or whatever that get likes. That could be fine. I don't want to diss social media since we are going to be on social
So,
media. But I guess I'm just saying, as a young person trying to grow, um, that can really damage your spirit.
absolutely.
And I want things to be uplifting your spirit. So do
Mhm.
things for you that make you feel happy, healthy, whole, and a good friend is somebody who's going to, help guide you in that direction too.
Yeah, being true to you, your
That's right.
purpose, and
That is
knowing
exactly right.
your purpose in this earth. Because I even talked to my young girls. We're reading this book called Radiant, and it focused a lot on identity and not allowing social media because you're right, even though it's a good tool, it also can be a tool that causes us to show up as something
Right.
totally different. So like Bridget said when we had our podcast the other day, your light is now being dim, and you're actually robbing someone of your greatness because you're feeling someone else's shoes that you never was meant to feel. So having the people around you, I can't think of the quote, but if you can, because we have this thing called your five influences
Hmm.
in our training, and um, the people you surround yourself with are the people that impact your life. So it's so important that that network, that circle that you have, are people
Right.
who are positive influences, the people you can laugh with, people that you can enjoy life with, people that you can share your dreams and goals and not see rivalry or
Right.
jealousy, but I want to help propel you forward into what it is you want to be, and I value people like that. And sometimes it may be for a moment, you never know, but having those
Yeah, I
type of
think that's true.
relationships matter.
You said that at the beginning, kind of.
Hmm.
The friendships can be for a season or they can be for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
I've got some friends that I've had since grade school. I've got some
Oh.
friends that I met last week
Uh-huh.
because I love people and I like to meet new friends. But um, each friendship can bring a different and
Hmm.
unique sort of perspective to you.
That's a gem. I love to hear when people say that they have their friends since grade school. Like, how are you maintaining that?
Yeah. The one thing I hate to talk about was that means it's been 40 or 50 years that I've been friends with this person.
That's beautiful.
I remember my mother used to have friends that she had been friends with for 40 years. And I was like, y'all are old. And now I'm like, I can say that. Oh.
And your kids, right? Like, that's auntie now.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. Or TT.
TT, yes. I love it. So, if you think about kind of what we were just talking about, the influences of social media, and maybe people who kind of push us into purpose, what is some advice that you would give to young girls when, as they're looking to develop in their career or socially? What is maybe a piece of advice that even maybe we'll share with you?
Well, one of the things that I learned in high school actually was from my sociology teacher or something, and it's a Latin phrase. It's "Gnoti Saltan" or something. I can't remember, but it means know thyself, because all things come from that, right? All things
Yeah.
flow from knowing who you are
Absolutely.
and who you're supposed to be. Even if you're growing, you still know who you are inside, and so that's important as you face challenges in the world or as you face opportunities. There might be an opportunity that's not for you because you know who you are, and that may not be the opportunity that's for you. So I love that. What I would tell young people, besides that, young women, is to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because we just have such a history of taking care of everyone else around us. Women do, and black women particularly do,
Yeah.
want to take care of others, and sometimes are not taking care of themselves. So I would advise all young people to, keep running track,
Yes.
keep playing basketball,
Yes.
or, listen to music when you need to. Get a massage if you can.
Yes, because
You
I
know,
need one.
do things that are good for you. I do too, but I have no idea. But do things that are good for you so that you can be there for others. It still is going to be
Absolutely.
fine that you take care of other people. You got to fill your soul and your bank first before you can fill somebody else's cup. I think is there some saying like that. Fill your cup first, then you can fill someone else's.
Because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Amen.
And that's so good and so true. And I was exercising that this week. I'm like, you know what? You getting a little burnt out because I feel like I've been going because there's so much to do. And I was sharing this with Tiffany too. Like, it's easy. Like in your head, like, oh, this easy, I could do that. This easy, I could do that. This easy, but easy piled up. And
Too
it's
many
like,
easies.
Too many easies. And it's just like, oh, girl, you need to pause, breathe, and really think about self-care. And I've been guilty of not thinking about what does self-care look like for me, because like you said, you're always doing, and I've seen my mother always doing and always feeling a need, and it's easy to do, but do I need to? Do I have to be present? Do I have to show up there?
Right.
You know, so having that wisdom. And another point that you made is something we talk about even in the mentoring spaces, where you do need to know yourself. Because if you don't know who you are, you come into a relationship with someone else, you're spilling all over the place. Whether it's you are spilling your hurts or your areas that you're incomplete, you need to know you first. And boundaries are important even in mentoring relationships. And if you don't know that, you can cause more damage than anything. So being confident and solid in who you are
Right.
and coming to a relationship is important. So,
Right.
yeah. Perfect.
Mrs. Johnston.
Period. So that's who gave you the know thyself.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. So this is coming to a conclusion.
Oh no.
I know. It's like we've been going, and I'm like, we may not get through them all, but we have. But we have a couple more, and it's just been such a great conversation. But before I get to the woman in history that has impacted your life, I just want to know kind of what. Well, actually, yeah. Well, we will move to that because. Well, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. If it was something you could do differently, you know, just thinking back over time, is there anything that you would kind of say, I would do that differently, or I'll just let you answer that?
Well, a couple things come through my mind. We all make mistakes. I think that one of the things that I was told that I did not do, but usually I'm a good listener and I absorb other people's thinking because they did it already. So you don't have to make their same mistake.
Absolutely.
But when I was in college and right after college, one of my gym teachers was like, hey, you have to keep working out. Well, guess what? Well, I did not do that. That is one of my regrets, is that I just did not stay on that path in terms of. And it's really a self-care thing, right? You start getting so busy that that's something you let go. I even played ball when I was at the law firm when I first came back. Yep, I was playing in a league. We went to Maryland Avenue School.
That is
and
so
worked.
cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And then, life
let it
happened.
go.
Kids,
Yeah.
husbands,
Yeah.
one at a time. But, husbands. That was a mistake too, but the first one. I'm sorry. So,
those are life lessons,
they
though.
are.
They are,
You
especially
live
for
and
women.
learn.
Yes, as women, sometimes relationships, you have to really go back and learn from those things. Like,
and I got a good one now, so I'm good.
yes,
Good.
I met him with you too, and he was so funny. He got a great personality too. See,
I
sometimes
did that.
life
I
happens.
did that. I'm just kidding.
Toot your horn. We were talking about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama the other day, and I was like, she helped him radiate. She did her thing. She had her lane, and he had his lane. But it's a role you play.
Yeah, and it takes. I said it takes a village before to help raise people, but also to just stay focused and stay who you are. And I think my husband helps me do that.
Absolutely.
Because he's talking about my fun fact is that I eat cheeseburgers. I was like, that's all you can come up with? That's the funnest thing about me? He was like, well, it's a true thing. I said, okay. Thank you, honey. Thank you.
And I like it, though. That's
It's
a
a
good
real thing. I'm real.
And how many people like burgers? We all do.
Right. See, it's something I can bond with other people over.
Veggie burgers? No.
I'm sorry.
No. I tried to. I'm a vegan in and out. It's not.
No.
It's something that I try to be every now and again.
Yeah, no, I'm meat and potatoes. That's
Yeah.
a Midwestern thing. I'm meat and potatoes. I'm sorry.
Yes, love meat and potatoes. I'll be trying, but so good. Thank you for this time. I absolutely appreciate your personality. I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate the role you have here. I probably was like one of the most excited people, and I still am. So I just absolutely value it. And so just thinking about the history that you've made, because you made history for not only me, but I think about my Alverno sisters too. Just thinking about the women who blazed trails before us, whose shoulders we stand on, who, in my opinion, I believe we have some litty women in history that just go girl, like you did that. Who would be that woman in history that you would say inspires you today?
Well, that woman for me, I think, is Val Phillips, who is, just a local favorite and stood out because she was a trailblazer in so many different ways. Either the first woman, the first African American woman, or the first black person in many different fields. First black woman, I think, who graduated from University of Wisconsin Law School. First statewide elected official. Black person who was a statewide elected official. I think first woman maybe on the Common Council. I don't even have all the facts right, but I know she did all
A lot
of that.
of firsts.
Yeah. But what I loved about her more than all of those things, because those are all great things.
They are.
But she blazed a path for others to follow. Right? So there have been
Absolutely.
others who have followed in her footsteps after she did those things. But also the fact that I got to know her because she stayed active. 80, 90 years old, she's still coming to. I was the president of the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers, and she would be coming to our banquets. The banquet is named after her.
Nice.
I mean, she was still all in the community.
Yes.
Sharing her wisdom and sharing
Yes.
her activism, even when she, had retired and moved on from her illustrious career. So to me, she is someone that I hold up as, someone that did great things for our community here locally in Milwaukee, but also I feel like she just as a trailblazer in every respect. So
Absolutely. I feel like we have a responsibility too, though, don't you think? Once you obtain knowledge, once you are able to open a door, once you are able to have a seat at a table, I believe other folks should be coming along with you. And so when you get people like Val Phillips who have showed the way, wrote the blueprint in some spaces, now you have knowledge on how to do that, how you reach back and bring folks with you. So I love that.
me too. And it reminds me of my favorite quote, which you didn't ask me, but
Go
I'm going
ahead.
to tell you.
We can
Those to whom much is given, much is expected, or much is required.
Right, yes.
Biblical quote that I hope I live by, because I feel like I've been so blessed, and I just want to try to lift up others and bless others. And I think a lot is required and expected of me because I was able to have some great parents who raised me and great aspirations that have taken me to different places. So
Absolutely.
Yay.
I always love that. I love
isn't
that.
that a good quote?
Absolutely. Well, when the much is required, when you get there, like, dang, I asked for this, so let me go on and pour out.
That's
But
right.
it's all worth it. Those intangible things, when you see the results, the return on your investment, it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking out this time with me, sharing more about your journey with us. And I look forward to this. I look forward to more conversations like this with more women in the city, even men, having these important conversations so that we can keep shining light on not only mentoring, but the good things that are taking place in our community, the great leaders such as yourself in the city of Milwaukee.
And the great emerging leaders like yourself.
Thank you so much.
You are wonderful. You are a great Alverno woman example. So thank you so much for being a part of our community. And you do a wonderful job. You are just the energy that is emanating from you. When you said you were reading the book Radiant, I was like, because that is you. I don't know what the book is about, but you are radiant. So thank you for everything that you do for our community.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to cry on this podcast today. Thank you so much. This has been Moments in Mentoring. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. If you would like to learn more about Mentor Greta Milwaukee, you can visit our website at www.milwaukeementor.com. My name is Betty Hill, and I am the Director of Youth Development and Strategic Partnerships. And thank you again.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Silent clapping in the